All right, what's up? What's up, everybody? It is Thursday night. That means it's Master Chat night, and wow, do we just have an awesome conversation over on Twitter for Master Chat. If you're chiming in, we are on Facebook right now. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch, and we are on Twitter. So wherever you're at, do me a favor, say hello. Let us know where you're at, and pop in. Let us know what's going on. Hope you enjoyed the chat. This was kind of a really cool one in the sense because Trey, some people might not know because they might not be listening, but your episode on Teach Better Talk came out today too.
Yeah.
It's just like timed up perfectly, which was great. I'd love to say that we planned that, but it just kind of happened. So super excited to have you here. This was a good chat. You know, we connected 2 days ago with everything going on. I said, hey, like it's pretty connected to the conversations that a lot of people are having, but can we kind of tailor some things? And I think you did a really nice job at that. I think it really brought a lot of conversations about a lot of the different things that are going on between COVID, between a lot of the talk around diversity and injustice that's going on and stuff. And I think it was just a really important chat, and we were really happy that that you were able to lead us tonight. I thought it was a really great conversation. So how are you feeling right now after the chat? Like, what's going through your head?
I mean, you know, I feel great as a young Black educator myself, to have an opportunity to be a part of a conversation like this at a time like this when we are protesting for the injustices of George Floyd and Eric Garner and Sandra Bland and Tamir Rice and Trayvon Martin. You know, to be able to be a part of this conversation in my industry of education and be able to talk about SEL and restorative practices and those things that we do and that I do and I'm so passionate about. I mean, it's really an honor and a privilege as well. So I super appreciate the opportunity, and I'm glad everything lined up for the episode to come out today and have the chat today as well. So I also appreciate your suggestion. You know, I was still a little more focused on quarantine, but the tides have turned. You know, I think I submitted my questions a little bit
earlier.
So I appreciate the consciousness to say, hey, let's shift the conversation a little bit.
And I appreciate the twist because we still kept because like quarantine and COVID and everything that's not over yet. We're all still going through that too. Like it's just this endless wave of 2020 right now. And so I like that we were able to have the conversation around both because we're still all going through both. So that's really important. I want to say hi, Libby. What's going on, Libby? Livia, awesome to see you. Hans, my man, jumping in as well. Hans commented, I love this. I didn't know you were doing it. It was a total surprise. And like Becky messaged me and she goes, is he doing, I don't see text, I just saw a video. I said, no, he's doing both. She's like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, yeah. So some people might not, I don't know if everyone caught on to that, but Trey, you did, you know, we do the images and typical like text version of it, but you're a video guy. Like you like to be out in front. You feel that connection. So you did a video for him too. Was it for all the questions or just?
It was all the questions.
All the questions. Yeah. See, this thing moves so fast. Like I never have the same experience. I'm like, I don't know. I think I saw what's going on, but I thought that was really cool because some people would rather just do that. And then that also, I think, in the chat, introduced them to you, right? Your face, your mannerisms, and like that. And I think that was a really cool thing. So that was neat. I really enjoyed that a lot. Kaplan, what's going on, sir? He said that chat was amazing. Jeff's our good buddy down in Atlanta, who's a longtime Master Chat veteran. I think you. I don't know if it's you that you comment. I think you saw Jeff and I always try and see who can beat the other one to the Channing Tatum thing that says my name is Jeff.
Yeah, that was funny. My wife Community on Netflix, and I walked in the house after I saw that, and somebody said, "Hi, my name is Jeff." I'm like, "Wow, would you look at that?"
Would you look at that? I love it. That's great. So thinking through, you know, you had questions set up. We changed them a little bit, or a couple of them, stuff like that. When you were thinking through your questions, sort of what were you hoping people would take away from the chat? Like, what was the goal of like, okay, I'm thinking through this, and I really hope people grab this or this conversation happens, or what was it like primarily for you? It's probably a lot of them, but
I think primarily it's like to take control of your classroom, take control of your environment, you know, and so I'm big on SEL, in particular adult SEL. So I think question 5 or 6 was more based around how are you going to prepare yourself for next school year? And so the questions were kind of priming just hey, what are we really into, bringing that awareness, and then reflection of what's the reason why we're doing this, and then transition. So that's actually like a method that I use in a lot of my work. I call it ART. the A is awareness and what you're kind of passionate about. The R is reflection and the reason why you do things. And the T is the transition to how you become that person. And so the questions are kind of in that format. You start with the awareness, then go to reflection and transition. And what I wanted the folks to talk about is your role, and I saw some great responses about how these conversations can be integrated to math, to social studies, to English, to band. That was really cool to see how you can put yourself into the conversation. There's no excuse not to be a part of this conversation.
Shemaine says, this was my first master chat. And it was so good. So many gems came from this discussion. I appreciate you all. If you don't know Shemaine, I'll tell you what, like that is a compliment right there, because that woman is amazing. She's so much fun, and I just made her blush, and I love it. She's so much fun. She's so smart. I love you, Shemaine. You're awesome. Anyway, Jeff says, the questions put in the forefront of my mind how to incorporate more SEO with whatever next year would look like.
Yes, got it.
Yes, Jeff, that's exactly what we're looking for. So I love that. So, of the questions, so when you're coming into the chat, were there any of the questions that like you stood out when you were like putting them together and like, I'm really interested to see how people answer this? I'm really curious to see maybe the different ways, or I'm really excited to see, does this spark this or that? Were there any questions that you really like more? I don't know if excited is the word is, but maybe excited about or interested to see the answer of, something of that nature?
Yeah, I think question 4 and 5 were the kickers for me. And question 4 was, next school year, how will you prioritize restoring harm and building connections with your in this when our unprecedented start to 2020? And I think for the whole chat, I wasn't expecting folks to I guess hit on the communication and the relationships as early. I thought that would come out more in question 4 and 5, but it's a very aware audience, and this is a group of educators who are concerned with teaching better. So I'm not surprised by that. I have been around some teachers as well who are not nearly as aware, but the fact that pretty much everybody alluded to communication and relationships, that makes my heart smile, because I said it a few times, communication is currency. You can't do anything without it. When you talk about self-talk inside your own mind, nonverbal communication, those kind of skills rule the world, man.
I loved I'm just touching specifically on the self-talk inside your mind, because one of the clips I pulled for the like preview of your episode, we do this like preview, like put on the stories and stuff. The last clip was, if you, and I don't know if I'll say it exactly word for word, but if you spoke to anyone else the way you speak to yourself inside your head, would you still be friends?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember on the episode, Ray and I were both like, oh wow, like, and it was right after you had talked just earlier about like how communication is currency, and I remember Ray going, oh, communication, and like she couldn't like she didn't remember what she was about to ask you, because she like you hit her so many moments of that on the podcast that I love, which made me just super excited for the chat tonight again too. And then you hit us with a video thing, and I'm like, come on, man, tell me a little. Like we almost tapped out on like the awesome meter today. So
you guys do such a great job. I was like, man, how can I switch this up and kind of add a little?
I love it. It was great. Now, but the problem is now everyone going forward is going to have to do that.
That's true. Well, I'm happy to set the trend.
I want to say hi, Adam. What's up, buddy? Adam's in. Bree, hello, Bree. Someone said, I like the idea of if you are watching us in the Facebook group, it's just something with Facebook privacy. After you're done commenting, make sure you put your name there, because it doesn't always show us your name, and it hides your face and stuff. It's interesting. Yes, relationships are so important. Keep talking to families this summer. Don't wait until the fall. Relationships are the most important part of teaching. If you don't make deep ones, you can't teach all your students. Jeff Kaplan says, raise the bar. That's what Tre's doing right now. Adam says he's picked up so many ideas and resources. Livia, so one of them was you. Well, thank you. Thanks, Livia. Hans says communication is currency. That should be Tre's book title. Funny you should mention a book, Hans.
Hey,
because Tre actually has a book already. It's not that title, but it's still a really great book called Every Edition Counts. If you listen to his episode of Teach Better Talk, we may or may not be giving away three copies.
3 of them.
Maybe there's another book in there that's called Communication is Currency.
Yeah, I've got so many ideas for books, man.
All right, Tre, let's co-write a book together called Communication is Currency.
Hey, look, don't tempt me.
Are we committed?
Look, I'm down. I am down like Chinatown, sir.
I don't have anything cool to say back, so I'll just laugh. No, I love that thing. And so we talked a lot about the communication when you're on the episode. So let me Let me ask you this first. And you talked a little bit, you sort of touched on this already, but was there any answers or side conversations or anything like that came tonight that maybe surprised you, either really like blew your mind, or maybe surprised you in a way like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or maybe even like confused you, or anything that's really stood out that you could think of? And I know there was a lot of them coming at you. So like, okay, if you can't recall it completely, but maybe just a theme or an idea that came by.
I mean, there was one from Hans, I think, that I can't remember even what it was, but it was in question number 1 or number 2, and he kind of beat me to the punch. And I appreciated one of his responses. And then someone else, I said, how are you going to prepare for next year? And they said, I'm not waiting until next year. I'm starting right now. That's kind of the gusto and energy. They've already got a plan for their school to how they're going to continue communicating, not just with the students, but with the families. I mean, come on now. I mean, think about the trauma that our parents are going through right now as well. I mean, all these bad kids that we got in class, and I'm just kidding, but you know, the kids that we've got in class, you got them at home and you're working at the same time. I mean, what kind of support do our parents need right now? And even our teachers who have kids at home. That was a big one. I didn't incorporate family into my questions tonight, or community for that matter. So I'm glad that that was brought into the conversation as well.
We've been requested to show the book again, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything counts.
And I'm putting it up right now. That is Tre's website, tregammage.com. You can get the book off of there. It's on Amazon, obviously, as well. So you can go track that down. And I know you have a few, like, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a few like accompanying piece to that too. You have like some resources on your site that go along with that, or is that a separate program I'm thinking of?
So the book is a workbook. This is
it's actually Hans. I don't know where's Hans at. I'm gonna buy Hans a copy of your book, because I think Hans will love that, because it's an SEO based workbook. Why don't you talk about that for a minute? Tell us about the book for a little bit, because I think people are interested right now and will love to see that.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a long time coming, but every decision counts. I grew up. I moved 11 different times before I graduated high school. I went to 7 or 8 different schools, and in a lot of cases that really helped build me and shape me for who I am. But there were so many lessons that I learned from life that I should have learned in school. And so this book goes through those lessons, and I'll just read a couple of the chapter names. Part 1 is called "Failing Got Me Started." And so in chapter 1, we talk about how failure is your first attempt at learning. And I explore a lot of my personal failures and defeats, but then I also challenge you to reach out to your peers, to reach out to your elders, to look inward with yourself. Every chapter, some chapters are 3 pages, a couple chapters are maybe 10 pages. They all challenge you with some kind of task. Chapter 2, this has been every student that I've worked with, their favorite chapter. It's called Only Quality People. And it kind of compares a crab in a barrel mindset, where you're always getting pulled back, versus a shark mindset where you're always moving forward. It's a growth or a fixed mindset. And the kids love that. They eat up the analogies, and they get to analyze who are the top 5 people in your life. And at the end of the book, in that chapter, we reevaluate that and see if your list changed based on what you learned about the crab and the shark mindset. And then chapter 3 is about making new mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Just try not to make the same one twice. So that's the first 3 chapters. There's 8 more, and we might talk about some more of those as we go. But it's been a real honor, and I use real stories, and it was important for me to write a book as a young Black man that young Black students can see and feel a part of and really feel connected to. So I share a story about how I failed a drug test in college, and about how I was this skinny, scrawny kid, bobblehead on the football field my junior year, and then transformed into a beast my senior year to earn a scholarship. So really, really digging into some roots and some real vulnerable, authentic conversation in it.
And you shared that story, the story about the football story about bulking up and getting your scholarship and everything. You shared that on the podcast. It was awesome. I loved it. So let's see where we at. Jeff Kaplan says ordered. He just he says my students love first attempt at learning. So that's something I don't even know if you know. Like, that's something that we push all the time, is fail as first attempt at learning. Right? We got posters. Kaplan's got it in his room. He's a good method user and stuff. So it's really cool to get that fits right in. Hans says I need this book with a bunch of exclamation points. Love it. Hans, I already said I'm gonna buy you a copy. Like, as soon as we get off, I'm gonna order it and send it out to you. So it's coming to you, man.
And I saw Hans. book as well, doesn't
he? He just released his book, Award-Winning Culture. Yeah,
it looked really good too, and I want to purchase it.
It is very actually Hans. Right before we got live, I actually got a notification on my phone. I ordered it, but it's been back ordered. A lot of stuff are backed up on Amazon. I got the notification that it's in transit. Like I'm gonna get it today. I think tomorrow, probably at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So he says it has to be signed by Tre. So I will do what I can for you, Hans. I'll do my best to sweet talk here afterward.
Well, how about this? I'll send Hans a copy. I'll sign a copy tonight and I'll ship it over to him. If Hans, you'll DM me on whatever platform, we'll connect, man. Maybe we'll do a little exchange.
I like it. Ooh, I like that. I like the way where that's going. So, also, anybody else who's watching, if you're interested, like you can, we're giving away. We did 3 copies, I believe, on this episode. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy to win. Just listen to the episode. We explain it. One, you should listen to the episode anyway. But we talked about it. Tre wanted to give away 3 copies, so we haven't looked yet to see who's winning that. So like, you still have time to go do that real quick on social media. Yeah. So, loving it. So let me throw. What I always like to do this is like, so with Master Chat, you felt how fast it goes. Obviously, like we talked right when we got on. You're like, hey, that went by really fast. It's an hour, but it's like. Right? So one of my other favorite parts is like, anytime I talk to anyone, they'll be like, oh, have you, did you see this, and this in chat? I'm like, no, I didn't see that conversation at all. So you can have 2 people that have done more in the chat or active in chat who have completely different experiences because there's so many little things that start going on. You get in these side conversations and you retweet and stuff like that. Yeah. So like a lot of times I don't see the moderator's answers to the questions. Another thing. So because I didn't see all of them, I didn't see a few of them because I was watching the videos. But hi, whoever said hi, let me know what your name is. We want to say hi back. So let me throw a question at you.
Yes, sir.
We'll read them. Let me ask you that right there. So, question 1: if we were still in Class A, how would you start the conversation around race, bias, and brutality for Black and brown people?
Yeah, I think I would start in a similar way that a lot of people responded with the restorative circle. And having a couple rounds of questions. Restorative circles can be very time consuming, and I would take all the time that we need to have the conversation, and perhaps start with a reflection or with some ideas about what your thoughts are, how to get those together, and then coming together as a group and letting us share out our responses. So that's not a super innovative response. I mean, again, the mastery chat was amazing, and I think a lot of people mentioned that. So the restorative circle would be absolutely my first go-to, and that would probably inform that would let me know where my kids are. I saw somebody else responded that they would first check for understanding. How much do you know about what's going on? And so after that expectation set and the restorative circle, that informs how we can move forward with the conversation. Because it's absolutely not a set it and forget it or a one and done. This is an ongoing conversation and intentional about being anti-bias, anti-racist, and implementing these restorative practices in classrooms.
Hey, Joe, good to see you. He said, sounds like a great book, Tre. I need to learn more about SEL. So Tre, for anyone who might be watching or listening that hasn't ever run a restorative circle, doesn't know what that is, can you give us the quick rundown of what is a restorative circle? How do I put that together in my classroom? Or my virtual classroom, I guess.
Restorative circles are a really simple restorative practice. And to take it back a step further, restorative practices come from restorative justice, which believes that at its core, we have to repair harm. You have punitive punishment, and then you have restorative punishment or discipline, if you will. And the restorative kind understands and respects the fact that people in your classroom have harm. Or when there's an incident in your class, there's harm done, and we have to repair that through a conversation, which builds community. So a restorative circle is an opportunity for every student to have a voice. And there's about 7 steps to really setting up a checklist or a restorative circle, and I don't know them by heart, but essentially you'll form a circle with your class in a space in your classroom or somewhere that's sacred in most places. And then you'll start with the opening question that may be reflective or even a mood meter. How are you feeling today between 1 and 3, and why? And then you may have several rounds of questions. And the key is you'll have a talking stick, or you'll have your rules and your norms for the conversation about respecting people's voices. And whoever has that talking stick, that's who has the floor. And so we go around the circle and everybody gets a chance to respond. And of course, you have the option to pass on a question. But by the time we get back, you've got a chance for everybody's voice to be heard. You may do a round of 2 questions, 3 questions, 4 questions, 5 questions, and then you'll have more of a closing reflection. And it's really an opportunity for you as a teacher to understand and read your room, to read your area and understand how everybody's feeling, where they're at, and again, inform your conversations. I saw somebody in the chat who said that they would start with more one-on-one kind of check-ins and seeing how folks are feeling. But that restorative circle can help you understand whole group, what's going on, and then help you dig in deeper with a small group. And I do want to say there's a plethora of types of restorative circles. You can do a check-in circle, a community circle, a repairing harm circle. If like a kid, 2 students get suspended, when they return back to class, you can have like a return circle for them. You can also work with parents and teachers, or parents and students, or there's so many ways that you can use them. Peer conversations. 2 kids having a problem, they can have a peer that can sit in on a conversation. You can facilitate that. So it's a whole list of restorative practices or ways that you can use those circles to repair harm in your classroom and in your school.
Well, I appreciate you sharing. Mike Washburn says, looking forward to talking to Tre on education soon. Happy to see him here as well. Happy to hear that you're going there as well. That's awesome. Good to see you, Mike, as well. So I have a slight problem right now. I'm seeing way more people watching than we have likes and hearts, and I don't think that's fair to Tre. So if you're watching, I don't care where you're at, there's a way to like it and or heart it or whatever. Like, we need to be sending some going. So I should see that on Twitter. Those you can just send like 1 billion hearts. But on here we'll see like a heart or 2. So just saying. I mean, not for me, but for Tre. Like, stop being mean to Tre, guys. Come on. So I want to throw one more at you, and then I'm gonna let you go. I don't want to keep you forever, but let me see. What do I want to throw at you here? I should have had this planned out. So I like this because I know you talked about this some, but like, what role will adult and student SEL play in your summer preparation and the duration of the 2020-2021 school year? I know
I've been preparing for going back to school since quarantine kind of started. So my approach, I'm actually looking at, I've been consulting for the past 3 years, but I'm going to be working full time at a K-12 charter school next year, working mostly with students in still adult professional development. So I've been thinking about their plans. So for my students, we've already adopted a Lions Quest curriculum. And so we've already scheduled our training with the Lions Quest folks, and we'll be working on implementing some restorative practices during our in-service and our summer training. And from a business standpoint, I'm working on getting unstuck 4 steps to your best you, an adult SEL coaching program. So I've been doing some research, and most frameworks talk about the value of adult SEL, but I haven't really seen many SEL programs or coaching programs. So I've got a 4-step coaching program that allows teachers to become more aware of how they can build better relationships and communication in their personal and professional life, using some tools, some SEL self-assessment to look at where your skills are. And then we'll look at DISC assessment. That's a behavior and communication style assessment that will give you personalized results. And then we'll debrief that together. I'll walk you through the process to really setting up your goals and initiatives so that regardless of what kind of school year we walk into, you're ready to build relationships, to communicate and connect with your students, your peers, and your administrators at school as well.
I love it. Olivia chimed in saying, we have a community circle every day. We pass around a rock that is shaped like a heart. I always go around twice because sometimes they aren't ready to share, and sometimes they hear something that might spark an idea than we might have passed the first time. I've seen so many kids share more the second round because there might be something they forgot to add the first time. I love that, Olivia. Thank you for sharing. Jeff Kaplan says, I'm struggling to plan SEL with not knowing how we will be going back to school. So there's your thoughts on that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You were going. I'm good. Go ahead.
There's a lot of free resources for SEL that are available. I'd say one on my podcast this week, episode number 149, I had Kaylee Lethko on of EduCalm. They're actually a Canadian-based SEL company, and they focus on mindfulness and meditation. And so that practice is one that I've picked up much more during quarantine, but it's one that's very, very, very affordable for you to put those mindfulness practices. There's also another platform called Lessons for SEL, 1 to 2 minute videos free that are available on their website. Again, Lessons for SEL, and they have things, and they'll kind of break down each of the competencies of SEL. There's also the Social and Emotional Character Development.org, or the Social and Emotional Character Development Lab from Rutgers University. That's with Dr. Maurice Elias. Phenomenal work, like the godfather of, or one of the godfathers of SEL. So those are 3 websites. You've also got Castle, the collaborative academic for social and emotional learning, where you can kind of go there and you can get tiers of evidence-based SEL programs that range from comprehensive school-wide SEL to standalone lessons that you've got as well. And feel free to reach out to me if those are too far away or not available for you. I'd be happy to put you in contact with some SEL resources.
Gotcha. Kaplan said thank you. He appreciates that. That's a lot of resources there for you, Jeff. So that hopefully that helps out. Tre, I don't want to keep you forever tonight. I really appreciate it, man. This was a great conversation. I love the slight adaptation you made to it to really bring it to really relevant, not just for what we've already been going for, but what's going on in our world right now. And I think it sparked a really great conversation. I saw that all over Twitter, and we've seen it now in the comments here. So really appreciate that. Loved having you on the podcast. It was a great episode. I love getting to when I'm editing and just getting to like pull out those little one-liners and those things, and just a bunch hit me. So really appreciate your time, everything like that. Everyone who's watching and commenting, and whoever was in the chat, we appreciate all of you. We will see you next week. Same time, same place, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time for chat. And we're right here, typically right about 9 o'clock Eastern time for the recap on whatever you want to watch us on. Because right now we're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So really appreciate everyone going. Did we get anybody on Twitch today? We didn't have anyone on Twitch. Twitch is like new. We're just kind of messing with it. But yeah. I'm waiting for my Twitch friends to catch on. So we'll see. But really appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate you, sir. Everyone have a fantastic night, and we will see you next week.
Peace. Thank you, sir.